What's going on, guys? Welcome back to part 5 of the 1JZ240SX build. Today we got a few things we want to get done. Brake lines, radiator hoses, and a few other things. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it and get to work. For our radiator hoses, we already have one down here. We found a custom one that worked perfectly. And for the top, I had originally planned on making aluminum pipe that go down into there with a filler neck, and that was because I wanted this to be the highest point. But after looking at it a little further, our filler neck here is pretty much the same height that one would be, so there's no point in doing that. And instead of making an aluminum piece that went into here, I decided to just get a radiator hose that I'm going to make work. So it's just one hose from here, straight shot into there. So let's go ahead and get that cut up and put in there real quick. So let's take this off. I'm gonna take this one off the radiator. There you go. We got this hose from O'Reilly. Part number is 22562. Obviously, this is a very intricate piece. It's not gonna go in as it is. Only reason why I bought this piece is because it has a bend and a straight in this where I need it. So hopefully this would look perfect and OEM. So let's go ahead and cut this to length or to shape or whatever you want to call it, and hope it works. Look at that, we got the clamp part on the bottom, so from up top it looks super nice and simple. And this thing looks OEM, it looks like it was supposed to be there. So now we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and fill it up with some coolant and move on to whatever else we have. And of course, when I say coolant, it's distilled water. And of course, to properly bleed your system, you're supposed to turn on the car, let it get up to temp so your thermostat can open and cycle the coolant through the whole car. But I'm not running the thermostat, so all I have to do is start the car and just keep filling it up till I can't fill it up anymore. Then it'll be bled. You also, I also recommend jacking up your car as high up as you can, because no matter how hard you try, no matter what funnel you use, I guarantee you, if you jack it up, if you think you're bled, you jack it up, try to bleed it again, you're going to get more air bubbles coming out the top. So just jacking up brings the radiator point higher than everything else. So that being said, let's turn her over and bleed her up. Spin a little bit, so I went ahead and rolled the car back. That way it's on a dry surface. That way if there's any coolant leaks, I'll be able to see it. It does seem to be smoking a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that's just from all like your finger oil and all that stuff, like just touching it when the motor was out. So I'm just gonna let it warm up, let it get up to temp, and we'll see how it goes. Last thing I needed to complete the cooling system was the overflow tank. I was gonna do a nice fancy like Chase BAYS one or something, but decided to just do it old school like how I've always done it. The hose runs down into this bottle here, and the hose goes all the way up to the bottom, or down to the bottom I should say, and that way if it ever overheats it will fill into here, and once it goes back down and it needs to suck it all back up, it's the hose on the bottom so it can suck everything back up into the radiator. I also, one thing I want to say, if you guys do this, you want to vent this thing. The hose shouldn't be in there like sealed, because obviously once the water pushes into here, the air is gonna need somewhere to go. So I drilled 3 little vent holes there. So if this thing ever gets hot and has to push all the water out into here, the air can escape somewhere. All right, now we're gonna be installing our Chase BAYS brake line relocation kit. Pretty much in a factory S13, S14s I'm not too sure, but from the master has hard lines that go up here, over this, and down here, and one that goes down into here, which work, but it doesn't look good at all. It looks like a mess, and it's just stuff that you don't need. If you can replace them with these soft lines, and cleans it up a lot. So I'm not too sure if this is how you're supposed to do it, but it does in fact work like this. This is how we've done it on all our other friends' cars. We go straight from the master cylinder. One goes straight to this hole for the front driver's side. One goes, and then the other 2 go down, run along the subframe. One goes into this wheel. One goes into that T-block, or that block there, for the rear brakes. So let's go ahead and get the banjo fittings on the master cylinder and route them how they're supposed to be. But we gotta jack up the car first. In case you're like me and didn't know this, with the brake master cylinders, I couldn't figure out which line was for the front and which one was for the rear. So I went ahead and asked Jason, and he showed me. If you look there, I'm gonna try to place this the best as you can see it. There's an F there for front, F there for front, and then the third one has an R there for rear. So that being said, this is for the rear, these 2 are the fronts, and I'm assuming it doesn't matter which one's gonna be left and which one's gonna be right, since it's just, that's for front, this is for rear. So we're gonna go ahead and put the soft lines on it. Alright, so we got it all installed. I was having trouble trying to figure out the routing of it, because the way I wanted to do it was like right along the subframe, come up all the way up here, all nice and tight. But the lines were too short. I'm guessing they had originally made the length to be routed a different way. So I just had to figure out stuff that would work. So I got it put into the block there. I got it put into the brake thing over there. And what are you gonna say? Yeah, it's ran across the subframe. Not how I would want to do it, but it's still cleaner than the factory lines. And then we got all 3 banjo bolts here, all nice and tightened up. It goes down here. One goes straight there. You can't really see it, but goes directly down into there. And the other 2 across the subframe. So that being said, our Chase BAYS brake line relocation kit is installed. Alright guys, I don't know where I left off, but we're going to jump back into today. We're going to do the headlight brackets on the SILVIA headlights. So one thing I actually did get a long time ago were these headlight brackets for the SILVIA headlights from DefWorks for the outer edge. Because if you guys know anything about SILVIA headlights, or for the front end, the headlights actually bolt onto the fender. And when you go fiberglass fenders, they actually, they have it here, but it never lines up right. It's never in the right spot. Everything ends up being all crooked. So he makes this to kind of have its own set spot. That way you can pull your fenders off and still have the headlights mounted to the chassis. I already did this side. As you can see, it's held up on its own. We have flat stock steel that's bolted in, comes across here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just time lapse me doing this side. Then we'll have the headlights mounted. We can see where we have to put our intercooler. So essentially, you start off with this flat piece of steel. This one specifically is an 1/8 inch steel. So we come here, and my thought process is you bolt it up behind here. So when it's gonna come on here and a 90 out to get the distance that we need, come flat down to bolt onto the headlight bracket, and then diagonal down and bolt right into the factory location where the original one does. So we start off with this. We bent this in the vise in the back with a hammer. We put it into here, line it up with that, and just figure out where the headlight's gonna be, and bend that 45 angle, and then meet it up into there. So let's go ahead and mock up this headlight. We're obviously using rib nuts. So the side bracket that holds from this side, there's a rib nut in the body here. That way that can bolt onto there. There's 3 rib nuts in the actual bracket itself. 1 on the top, 2 for the headlights, and yep, 3. So let's go ahead and test with the headlight and mock up where we need to make the bracket. You guys didn't see that. So we got that. Let's go ahead and mock it up on the car and see where we have to put our other bend to go straight down. Alright, now that we have our bend, it's going to bolt onto the radiator support here, bolt onto the headlights, and then bend down, bolt onto the bottom of the frame rail type thing. Now let's just mark off where we need to cut it off and trim it so we get rid of all this extra stuff. There you go. Our headlights are all mounted. Now we can figure out where we can mount the intercooler and blah, 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 blah. But, dude, this thing looks actually really good. Honestly, I didn't know how I felt about the double projectors. I just knew I liked them more than the triples. And it looks pretty darn good. This thing is coming together, man. That being said, I apologize. This video was kind of all over the place. I don't even remember what's in it, to be honest. I think it was the radiator, the cooling system, and brake lines and headlights. So hope you guys enjoyed watching all of that. That being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.